Greetings, I am Monster D, and today I am going to talk to you a little bit about the new Banana Splits movie. Yes, this is the old, mostly forgotten children's property that has gone horror. Yes, causing just a little bit of controversy, but not that much, and so many of us did not really remember the franchise, and if we did, it was after effects of reruns, and perhaps thought it was creepy already. But however your feelings are about the new Banana Splits, it is here. It is most decidedly not for children anymore, at least not young children. I mean, perhaps someone above 10 could watch this, perhaps. But yes, it's intense. But for my grown-up viewing pleasure, I found it quite fun. And actually, I tend to think that the idea of mining these old, forgotten franchises and turning them into a different genre, I actually think that is just a little bit brilliant. You know, in an age where they're remaking The Lion King and Aladdin and all of these movies that were already big budget, successes, just remaking those into other big budget successes almost just feels redundant. I've always been of the opinion that more movies should be remade that could actually use some fixing up, some properties that have a little more dust on them and have some wear and tear, and perhaps themselves do not hold up as well. Use all that money and effort to do something with a franchise that has not been done before. So, with that in mind, and with the idea of the Banana Splits, I'm going to offer some suggestions, should you Hollywood studios be listening, to add to the pantheon of forgotten franchises turned modern day monstrous classics. My first pick is a forgotten live-action Disney film by the name of A Cat from Outer Space. I remember as a wee young monster maker watching this film in our elementary school cafeteria gym movie theater. Multi-purpose, I suppose. It was the simple story of an alien cat, because as you all know, cats are aliens, crash lands on Earth and spends its time preparing to try to leave back for its home world, while also assisting a nice young gentleman on Earth on his way. I think a forgotten movie like that could be remade as sort of a dark, slow-burning science fiction film where cats have been slowly supplanting the world for years, preparing for their ultimate domination. Perhaps it could be directed by Daniel Espinosa. He did such a great job of remaking the classic board game Life. Then there's the old classic tearjerker, Old Yeller. I have a simple solution to update that classic film. Old Yeller, the were-dog. Then there is Beanie and Cecil, the beloved sea monster and the young child which it befriends. Oh, I would take that property right over to Mr. Gareth Edwards for a gritty, dark, smoke-covered, rainy, giant monster mashup. Perhaps Beanie could even wind up fighting Sigmund the sea monster, and maybe even another cameo by H.R. Pufnstuf. But it would be dark and grim, and perhaps people would jump from helicopters or planes from the sky to make it look beautiful and artistic, and we would keep cutting away from the wonderful monster action we want to see so much, it could be a true modern day classic that people argue over for decades. Perhaps it would just be called Cecil. I think we are beyond ready for a return of the Monchichis! The old strange hybrid of plush animal and baby doll, then turned into an 80s Saturday morning cartoon, could be redone, I would say, in one of two ways. Either you could keep those already existing dolls, which for the better part of my childhood, there was always one in every child's toy chest. You could create a sort of menacing dolls come to life, run amok sort of story, where all of those old forgotten Monchichis wake up and reclaim the world which was once not quite theirs. Or you could make the Monchichis a real species and make this sort of a jungle horror film. Ooh. And why just stick with movies? Why not update things in other platforms? We could have some crazy sort of grown-up mature reboots of some old video games that we've almost forgotten about. How about, let's see, how about Qbert? I've got 3 words for you. God of Cubes. Ooh. As for Banana Splits itself, as I said, I found enjoyment of the film. It is not perfect, but I will say I found it superior to its slight predecessor, Critter's Attack. It hits some surprising horror notes. The horror comedy mixture is very interesting, and it takes a slog at not only the Banana Splits themselves, but it's sort of a pistache of a number of children's television shows, almost poking fun at what they may or may not have been behind the scenes. It has elements of Blue's Clues in the style of a TV show host that human host that it has. It has elements that might remind you of something like Double Dare or Legends of the Hidden Temple, some of those old Nickelodeon childhood game shows. It takes all of these and brings them into this new sort of garish, bloody, gleeful entertainment. Now this might seem very intense for you, this might seem like a bit much, but I will say this. When you think to all the success that clown movies have been having recently, of course everyone talks about, it's terrible that clowns are only seen as scary now. But if you think about it, nobody has been talking about clowns more than when they decided to turn them into horror figures. So maybe sometimes some of these characters do need a little bit of an update and some teeth added into their puppet mouths. In any case, if you have any other suggestions for old forgotten franchises, maybe some of your favorite childhood franchises, brought into the modern day and given a horrific new twist, feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments below. This is Monster D saying, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, stay monstrous. Monster D, rah!